Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jared, and today, we're going to be taking a closer look at this little guy right here. So this is the Spyderco Rhino. Now let's just get the pedigrees out of the way real quick, do a couple of size comparisons. So we got the Benchmade 940, the PM2, and the Para 3. So as you can tell, this guy's a little tiny, but don't let the size fool you, because this knife is awesome. I've been carrying him for the last week, and he's pretty much gone in the 5th pocket category, just because, I mean, look how small this is. But this thing is just so awesome. So let's just get all the stats out of the way real quick. So we have a total weight of 2.3 ounces, an overall length of 5.94 inches. The handle length is 3.5 inches, and the blade is 2.37. So let's talk more about the blade. We have CTSX HP, one of my favorite steels, 2.37 inches of it, and the edge length is actually 2.3 inches. Really cool. The blade stock thickness is coming in at 119 thousandths, and we pretty much have like a trailing point Persian blade here, which seems really kind of dumb for a knife this size, but this performs extremely well for the little cutting tasks. And let's talk about the ergonomics for a second too. Man, there are just so many grips that you can do with this, and it's just so comfortable. The it was just extremely surprising. It's a compression lock, and it's coming out of the Taichung, Taiwan factory. And lately I've been very interested in obtaining as many of these Taichung, Taiwan Spydercos as I'm able to, because I'm just so impressed with the fit and finish of these knives. Now there are a couple of negative things that I would change about this knife if I could. The first one, I actually did change the pocket clip. The pocket clip on this thing was, I think I got it right here, the typical Spyderco pocket clip. Actually interesting, this is the first Spyderco I've had that uses Benchmade pocket clips. Kind of interesting. Another thing, this knife really isn't suitable for reverse flicking or for lefties, just because of this cutout right here and how it stops right there. I even thought about maybe, I mean, we do have the ability to do tip up carry on the other side for lefties, but I actually moved the clip, and it's really strange because the clip is like right there. It just feels really odd. But I even thought about maybe taking a Dremel and kind of, rounding that off over there a little bit. But I'm going to kind of refrain from doing any heavy modifications from my knives just for a while, because I feel like that kind of takes a little bit away from what the designer wanted us to experience with this knife. And this, I can't get enough of this thing. It's so cool. Like, you would think that it would not be very good for opening up packages or opening up mail. And at first it wasn't, because I was taking like a saber grip and like completely dislocating my wrist just to get the tip down into something that whoosh, whoosh, and like it was tough that way. But what I found works with this knife are just simple push cuts, because this is, I mean, if the blade stock is like 118 thousandths, I have to imagine we're much less than 20,000, thousandths behind the edge. Like, sorry, Mike Tyson got 20 thousandths behind the edge. And you can literally just do some push cuts right into your boxes, and it just glides right through. I was actually really, the first day that I got this, I was out with my girlfriend, and she wanted to have, she asked me for a knife, and I always kind of, whenever she asks me for a knife, I'm always just like, why? What do you want it for? Because she's not like us. Let's just put it like that. So she had a plastic card. It was a Royal Farms card, and she wanted to put it onto her keychain, and there was no hole. And so I was like, all right, you know what? Let's see what happens. So shoved the tip into the plastic card, and like just did like a little circular motion like that, and drilled out like a perfect little hole. And then I inspected the tip and checked it out, and it was perfectly fine. And I thought that was kind of cool, because I really don't like doing stuff like that. I just don't really know the full capabilities of my knives tips, and I'd rather not find out that way. Of course, I do plan on doing some videos where I just straight up try to put these knives through like the most brutal conditions just to see what happens, but that's another topic for another day. This thing is it's for sure my favorite knife in the fifth pocket knife category. The fit and finish on this is just, it's perfect per every Taiwan knife that I have. And the thing that really impresses me about these Taiwan knives are the grind lines. Like the bevels on this, you can see right there at the point. It's kind of tough to see, but it meets it the apex is perfectly in the center. I've had a lot of the Para 3s and PM2s, even some of the Manixes that I've had, they tend to just have some really wonky grind lines. But this thing is just, man, it looks cool. It feels great. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do with it, and it's just like, it's different, like it's not a little native. It's not like a Dragonfly or a Delica. I mean, this is really cool. It looks like it wouldn't be a very good EDC knife, but just go out and try one, and you're going to be really surprised. This thing packs a lot of punch for its size, and it's also very, very sturdy for its size. I mean, it's like a little Rhino. They're like little tanks, man. It's 2.3 ounces for a knife of this size. I mean, we got two very thick slabs of G10, and it's interesting that they made this a compression lock, just because, we associate compression locks with, being able to close with one hand, and also, the drop. And this knife will never do that. This knife will never, ever drop. And that's okay, because that's not what it's for. And also, there's no weight on the tip right here. So it's just not really in the design. Even if you were to add a little bearing spacer housing, bushing around the pivot, it's not gonna do anything, and that's okay. But with that being said, I probably would have wanted this to be either like a mid lock, or even like a liner lock would have been okay. But I don't have a problem with this. This is fine. It's just interesting that they chose to use a compression lock. But this thing is just really, really clean. Haven't taken it apart yet. There really is no need for me to. I mean, it's gonna be your typical compression lock Spyderco. I mean, how many others are like that out there? There's a bunch. But this guy, I'm just so impressed with, and it's 100% gonna be staying in the collection. So that's all we got for today, guys. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one.